Hey, everybody, it's Dr. T with the messy hair because it's the weekend. I wanted to quick get on here and talk about weight loss. Now, I know it's kind of a kitschy thing, but I have struggled my whole life with going up and down with my weight. I've was kind of one of those kids that was always a little overweight. Actually, I was skinny until my parents got divorced. And then if you look at my school pictures, I gained a bunch of weight and I really struggled to keep that off. I've had moments like when I was in the army where I lost a bunch because I was running all the time. I just can't seem to keep it off. And I'd had this experience where I was suffering with these headaches. I went to my doctor. I was I was like 30 pounds heavier than I had been the last time I stepped on the scale, and I was like, what the hell? How did this happen? And I started looking at just what was going on. So I gathered in all my friends and colleagues that I knew that worked with hormones and peptides and weight loss, protein. I called in everybody I knew. And for once in my life, I did what they told me to do, and I lost 40 pounds. And for the most part, I've kept off probably 35 of it. I go up and down a little bit. I thought to myself, why don't you bring this to everybody else? Now I know I'm a guy, but let's figure this out. And so what I did was I came up with a program that includes hormone balancing. So I check all your hormones. We fill in the gaps, do what needs to be done. But we also work on the secret ingredient that I like to call insulin resistance. And for women, the typical experience is, I've got this 10 to 15 pounds that I gained in the last 5 years or so, and I can't get it off. Or there's women that have the story where they're gaining 15 pounds a month and they don't know why, or every 3 months. And they're now 50 pounds from where they were when they were in college. And it just keeps going up and up and up. And you hear the story like how I eat right, I exercise, I do what I'm supposed to do. And you go to the doctor and they're like, yeah, right. They don't believe you, right? Well, I think that you got to come at this from multiple angles. So what I did was I took and I figured if I could just get you enrolled for 3 months, that I could change the course of your life and I could get you going in the right direction. And so I came up, it was a Sunday a few months back, and I came up with this program that includes 3 visits with me, all the medications, and that includes things like Monjaro or Ozempic. Now I use the generic semaglutide and tirzepatide. It includes those for 3 months. It includes all the supplements. And basically what I have is dihydroberberine, maca, um, Himalayan rock salt, a couple of supplements from Australia that aren't even available yet in this country called M-Body, and um, some pretty cool affirmation cards that are done by a friend of mine who is pretty brutal but affirming at the same time, and a couple other things that I throw in there. You I can't make guarantees, but what I can tell you is just by committing to this 3 months, you will have weight loss. I haven't had one person that hasn't had weight loss. And in 3 months, if let's say a woman weighs 150 pounds, you probably could lose 15 pounds in 3 months. 6 months, you're probably looking at 20 to 25 pounds. A 200-pound person in 3 months probably lose 15 to 20 pounds. Over 6 months could probably lose 30 to 40 pounds. And then it's a matter of talking to you while you're doing this about mindset. Because here's what I experienced. I lost 40 pounds and my clothes didn't fit, right? I went from like a 37-inch waist to a 32. And I had all these big clothes in my closet. I always wore big clothes, sweaters and stuff because I just covered myself up. And I'm now wearing mediums and I'm wearing 32s. Anyways, I knew my limitation was that I was going to keep the fat clothes in the closet so that when I go back, I'll have clothes. That is a bad way to think because you're telling your body every time, in your brain, every time you go in that closet, you're telling your brain, Oh, yeah, I'm going to go back there someday. So what I did was I hired a lady to come in and clean out my closet. I know it sounds dumb because why couldn't I do it myself? But I couldn't. I couldn't get rid of my fat clothes. And I have a daughter who I did a podcast with named Hannah. She talked about this in her podcast episode with me. She lost 55 pounds, I think. She called me one day from the store and she's like, Dad, I'm having a problem. And I said, what? And she said, I have a small shirt in my hand and it's really cute and I want to buy it, but I can't bring myself to go to the cash register and purchase it because I've always been a large. I've never been a small. And I was like, I know this is the mindset piece, right? You've got to do the things that are going to burn the ships so you can't go back. So I got rid of all my fat boy clothes, told my daughter to buy the small shirt and to really embrace the work that you've done. For those of you that hear these, oh, you're cheating, oh, these medicines are horrible, that's total bunk. That is from jealous people. I call that crabs in a pot. When you put a bunch of crabs in a pot and the water starts to heat up, the ones on the top are smart. They try to get out and they get pretty close to getting out. But when they do, the other crabs will grab them, pull them back in because their mentality is their safety in numbers. It's how they protect themselves when they're in the ocean, numbers, and they protect the weaker ones. Well, the problem is they're keeping you from succeeding because they want to pull you back in. And that's the mindset you have to get over. So let me be your coach. Let me be your guide, if you will. Go to the link that I have here in the first comment or the link that I put in the description, and it will take you to the page where I discuss everything that's in here. You were right about my GP, and I wanted my hormones tested. She said I don't test hormones. I know what they'll tell me. You're in menopause, and then referenced the Women's Health Initiative. Women's Health Initiative is trash. A doctor that won't check your hormones is lazy, and you should find another doctor. Will you be getting licensed in Virginia? Unfortunately, no, not anytime soon, because Virginia is not a part of the licensure consortium. They have chosen, they're one of like 8 states that doesn't want to participate. And it will probably be a while because I have other states that I've really got to focus on that are easier to get. 4 years ago, I weighed 95 pounds, fluctuating between 114 and 117. And by now, granted, I'm only 410, but disgusted. I mean, bloating is totally different. I actually just did an episode with Hormone University on bloat. So you might want to check that out. Really, the weight that you are at, even at 410, is pretty healthy, I think. And I don't know. I mean, there's some things you probably can work on, and maybe 95 for you is a good weight. For a lot of people, are 98. I mean, a lot of people would be like, "Damn, girl, that's tiny." But again, we all have goals and we all have dreams and desires. So I would challenge you all to at least take a look at the link that I posted. See if it resonates with you. It's 3 months. It includes everything you're going to need. And I'm telling you, if you just do the things that are asked, you're going to succeed. And then it's just a start, though. And then you can carry this on yourself. You don't need to have a super dynamic program. You don't need to spend, tens of thousands of dollars. I had a woman that came to me for this who was in, she went to actually South Carolina and spent $12,000. They taught her how to cook. They taught her how to eat. She came home and she went right back into what she did before. My program is not that expensive, and it actually has better results. So I think it's one of those things. Well, yeah, I mean, 4 pounds are saline or water. I don't know if you're talking about saline implants or water weight. Either way, I guess it's water weight. But hey, we all have goals. We all have dreams, desires. My goal was also, I'm going to be vulnerable here. I am the worst patient in America. I can recommend things to patients, and I don't do them myself. My job, super stressful. I'm a solo practitioner, feast or famine. My blood pressure was through the roof. I was literally on 4 medications and got off of 3 of them. Cholesterol went down, stress went down, sleeping better. And I just feel better. I feel better in my clothes. I feel better about who I am. And I don't feel like a hypocrite, And it's been now a year and a half for me. So I really take this seriously. When you entrust me to take care of you and focus on hormones, focus on weight, it's something that I take seriously. And I really want to succeed because if you succeed, then that's only better for me because it's better for you. And so I would challenge you all to click on the link, take a look at it. If you have 10 to 100 pounds you want to lose, please click sign up. I only take 10 people a month, and I've got 7 openings for July still, but I only take 10 a month because I want to keep it doable and I want people to have the one-on-one attention that they need. So give it a sign, give it a look, check it out. Let me know what you think. Anybody else that's on there that has any questions about hormone replacement, weight loss, let me know. I'm here for a couple minutes. I'm drinking this coffee stuff. This is not a paid endorsement. It's this Purity coffee, and it's like a tea bag. Really interesting. It's like tea, but it's like instant coffee. I can't say that it's super great, but I have this high-end coffee maker at my office called Spin because I'm a coffee freak, and it cost me like $800. And I've had it for a year and a half, and it just totally crapped out on me, and I can't get it fixed. And they're going to charge me just $200, but I got to send it back in. And who wants to do that? So, will HRT slow down my grays? You know, if I had the secret to gray hair, I wouldn't look like this. I think it's genetic mostly. The beautiful thing about women is y'all can dye your hair, right? I mean, come on, man. I can't dye my hair. I'll look like a freak because I don't have gray eyebrows and I'll have gray hair. Is estradiol okay for a 56-year-old? And if so, should I take anything else? I can't give you personalized medical advice because I don't know your history and you're not my patient. But if you have a uterus and you go on estradiol, you need to be on progesterone. I don't think that 56 is a reason not to go on estrogen unless you have estrogen receptor positive breast cancer or you have some reason you can't use estrogen. But that's why I say I don't know your specific case because I don't know who you are. So if you want to engage me as a doctor, I can put my phone number in here and you can call me on Monday and make an appointment. I don't take insurance, but I am currently licensed in about 35 states. So I do practice in California, Sunny. It's a nice name for California. I do have a California license as of about 3 weeks ago. So call me on Monday and make an appointment. I love people from California. Yeah, no uterus, only ovaries. You don't need progesterone. I always say to women that don't have a uterus, you don't need progesterone to protect you from uterine cancer because you don't have a uterus, but you might want it because it helps you sleep, it calms you down, helps mellow you out, and it just overall makes you feel better. It's also a good balance to the estrogen. So I don't know, people who are on estrogen that aren't on progesterone, I tend to feel that they feel better when they go on progesterone because it balances things out. Estrogen helps you retain fluids. Progesterone's a diuretic. See where I'm going? It's a balance. But doctors will tell you you don't need it, and that's true. You don't need it, but you might want it, and that's different. Yeah, I I just, if I had the cure for gray hair, I don't have a problem with hair thinning. I maybe a little bit, but I went gray, started going gray in my 30s. Um, so yeah, just remember, click the link at the top, check out the page, take a look at it, give me some feedback. I'd love to have 7 of you sign up. You also get your hormones balanced. So if you were thinking about seeing me for hormone balance, but you wanted to do the weight loss as well, you get both in that package. So it's a 2-for-1 if you do the package. You can also obviously engage me for weight loss or hormones and pay kind of a la carte, but it ends up being way more expensive in my opinion because you have to pay for the meds, you have to pay for the supplements. It's just easier. It's just all in one place. Yeah. So any other questions? Weight loss, usually in the perimenopause, menopause phase. Your body wants to hang on to fat. There's a reason for that. At least this is my opinion. 2 reasons. One is fat does 2 things. Fat makes you heavy, and your body wants you to be heavy because it knows in menopause you're not going to have estrogen. Fat makes you heavier, which stresses your bones, which keeps you from getting osteoporosis. So let's honor your body because it's trying to help you by making you fatter. The other thing fat does is it makes estrogen. So when you go into menopause, not only are you heavier, which stresses your bones, but your body's saying, hey, we're going to need estrogen. We need more fat. So honor your body for doing what it's supposed to do, as much as you hate having that extra fat there. Now, if we replace your hormones, we're telling your body it doesn't need that extra estrogen, so it makes the fat loss easier. But then we also have insulin resistance, which is very, very common. And insulin resistance is what the program is geared towards. I'd rather pay you than any doctor here. They all seem to offer HRT. Anybody that offers pellets, see ya. See ya. To me, that means they're not a hormone expert. And to me, that means that they're putting profits over patients because pellets they injure people, plain and simple. They injure you. Long term, it's an injury. And do you insist on progesterone for endometrial protection? If you have a uterus, yes. Otherwise, that's considered malpractice. Because why would I give you a medication that I know causes uterine cancer over time if I also have a medicine to go with it that not only benefits you in many other ways, but protects you against the uterine cancer? You got me. You got me. Come on out here to Austin. We'll do an annual mammogram. We'll do the whole 9 yards. I'm also going to do a progestins. I don't prescribe. I don't prescribe progestin. There's a difference between progesterone and progestins. I do an episode on this in my podcast, and I can talk about it at any time, here as well. Progestins are where you take the progesterone molecule and you just change it, just barely change it. The reason that they came out with progestins, for those of you that like medical history, you cannot patent progesterone because it's a naturally occurring compound. So you can't patent it. You can patent a progestin because you've changed it and you've altered it. So you can patent it. So they patented progestin because they wanted to make birth control pills. And each company has its own progestin or its own ethinyl estradiol, which is also fake. The problem with these fake hormones is they hit the receptors different. And that's why you have the increased risk of breast cancer and hypertension and things like that with birth control pills, because these hormones, these fake synthetic estrogens and progestins, hit the receptors too hard, about 7 times to 10 times harder than a bioidentical hormone. So I don't use those. And my insurance covers nothing, honey. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Get your butt out here. We'll take care of you. Or if you're in one of the states where I practice, which I have an episode here on YouTube, I also have it as my second post on Instagram. So if you're on Instagram, follow me at Sean Tassone MD, and you can see the states where I'm licensed because it's the second post that I have on my page. Also, go get you a copy of the Hormone Balance Bible. I know I say this all the time. It's in the top 100 books of all time in women's health, which I think is amazing because there's thousands of books out there on women's health, and mine happens to be in the top 100 on Amazon, and that's because of people like you. And I'm very, I have sweet boots. Well, boots are good. Yeah, you can bring them to Austin. I'm a big fan of Lane boots for women, by the way. I love women's shoes. Christian Louboutin, Valentino's. You date me, you get shoes. That's just how it is. But for boots, I like Tecovas and I like Lane. I like Lane because they come in different colors and they got that cool blue bottom. It's kind of like the Christian Louboutins, though. You don't want to walk on them because then it scuffs the bottom. I know. But you can get sole protectors if you want. So I have a size 5 foot. Well, that's tiny. That's like teeny tiny, but you're a small person. So any questions before we end this diatribe on weight loss, hormones? Go to the link. Just go to the link and check it out. If you've been struggling with weight, you have to invest in you. It's not in me, it's in you, because I'll handle it. Once you do the investment, I'll get you everything you need. We'll get you to where you need to be. And I won't stop until you get to where you want to be, because I want you to succeed. Because I've been there. I lost 40 pounds. I've been up, I've been down. I've been 155, I've been 218. Been there, done that. I find that once I go over 200, I start to feel crappy. And I was at 218, I got down to 178. Now I'm around 183 and maintaining, what it did for me. What those medications do is they make your dialogue with food different. They make your dialogue different. Like I would go to the refrigerator and I would have the ability to say to myself, do you really, or do you want this? Are you hungry or are you bored? I'm bored. Okay. But do you still want it? Yeah, I still want some ice cream. Okay. Could you have 2 or 3 tablespoons instead of the whole container? I think I can. And then I did it and I was like, yeah, pretty good. I'm happy instead of eating the whole container. Since menopause this past year, I have gained 15 pounds. Body fat percentage went up dramatically, even with healthy eating. Yeah, you have insulin resistance, and the estradiol and progesterone may make it possible not to gain more weight. It may not make the weight come off. Sometimes you have to do something a little more aggressive to push the square peg through the round hole, as it were. Once I get you there back to where you were, then doing what you're doing will make it easier to keep the weight off. That's what I try to tell people. Super hard to turn that ship around. And I don't mean you're a ship, but you know what I'm saying. But once I get you back, then it's easier for you to keep it off, especially if you're already doing the right things. Just go to the link at the top, check it out. I'm taking 7 more people for July. I'm pushing it right now on Instagram. I usually will get 7 people in a weekend. So if you're interested, go now, because I'm actually talking here first to y'all. I was 129 with my second baby. First one, I was a whale. 140 is not a whale. Obviously, we need to help you with your inner dialogue as well. Your body, if you tell your body that it is a whale, it's going to believe that it is a whale. So start talking to yourself a little nicer. And I suffer from this as well. So please talk nicer to yourself, believe in yourself, and honor yourself. Like I told you, this is just what your body does, and it thinks that it's supposed to, because we have evolved so fast that our bodies haven't had a chance to catch up. And it used to be that our ancestors would struggle with famines, like they didn't have food like we do. So the body is programmed to store fat. How about 10 pounds after menopause? Definitely do it all the time. Help women all the time. You're not a meatball. See, don't talk to yourself like that. I am a delicious, lovely, active, vivacious woman. Well, actually, that's a great meme. I should put that out there, me saying that about myself. I do feel like I'm a woman sometimes, because I am literally the only man in the room ever. I went to a mastermind last week in Boston for my business, and there were 80 people there, and there were 4 guys. And every table I was at, it was always me and like 12 women. And it's funny because I kind of like it. It's a different energy. Women hold space a lot better than men do. Women listen, they allow you to talk. And I've learned that over the years. I think that's why I am the way that I am. Uh, you started microdosing. So here's the thing with microdosing. The units don't matter. The units are simply how much you're pulling up in the syringe. That's not the microdose. You need to know what the dosage is that you're on. So let's say you have a vial that has 25 milligrams in it, and it's a 2 ml, 20 milligram vial, 2 mLs. 25 units would be 2.5 milligrams. Yeah. So then if you were doing 5 units, you'd be doing 0.5 milligrams. I guess that's a microdose. But people get caught on the units, and the units don't mean anything. It's actually how much semaglutide or tirzepatide is in the bottle that you're drawing it up from. Also, I want to put out there, microdosing is very experimental, and it's being pushed by a couple of influencers out there. I don't like the idea of experimenting on patients. I think it's somewhat unethical. It's an interesting concept, that maybe we are giving too much. The studies have been done on the semaglutide and the tirzepatide dosages that are currently available through like Walgreens and CVS. There has been data done on those. Anything outside of those is somewhat experimental. I'm not a huge fan of experimenting on patients. and I don't like it. I may do it eventually, but I'm going to wait for everybody else to experiment on their patients. No, you got to get rid of the clothes, Shelly. You got to hire someone. Look in your area for a stylist. Again, it's an investment in you. I hired this woman to come to my closet, clean it out. She made me buy wooden hangers because I had all those goofy iron ones. And so I bought all these wooden hangers, and she then took me to Nordstrom and she shopped for me after I told her here's what I told her. I wanted to look like I had two looks. I wanted to be sexy college professor, and I wanted to be sexy PhD biker guy. And I just told her that, and then she went with it. And she shopped in the morning. She got me all these clothes, and then I tried them on. And I bought a bunch of clothes, which I never do. I never buy clothes because I hated buying clothes. And then she got rid of all of my fat boy clothes. I'm on BHRT, lift heavy things 3 days a week, wind sprints. Awesome. Good for you. That's great. You're doing the right things. So any questions for me? This has been fun. I like kind of having these discussions. I like doing these live. So please feel free to go to the link that I posted at the top. If you want to make an appointment, I'm licensed in 35 states. You can make an appointment. I don't take insurance, but usually 1 or 2 visits, we get you stable. And then I check in with you every 6 to 12 months. The weight loss program is the very first link that I posted. I'm going to take 7 new people this month. And I'd love to get you into those bathing suits by the end of the summer and get you feeling better, get your cholesterol down, blood pressure down. I want you to live longer. I want you to feel better. And I want you to change your dialogue and stop calling yourself a meatball. All right. Press like, ladies. Yes. Thank you, Denise. D-Nice. Thank you so much. I would love that. And I would love for y'all to share this. Obviously, getting the word out is helpful. It's good for my ego, which is somewhat shattered from time to time. Being online is tough. You got to take all the criticisms, and I'm good at it, but I also give it back. So people that criticize, I like to, because I'm East Coast, baby. I grew up in Massachusetts, so I don't just take it. How do you feel about explant surgery? I have a podcast that I'm recording in a few weeks on breast implant illness with Dr. Rob Whitfield. He says he's removed about 3,000 implants. I do believe in breast implant illness. I don't know if it's overblown or overstated, but I do believe it's a thing. It makes sense because there's these implants that were used in fallopian tubes for 16 years called Essure, ESSURE. And if you look at my videos, I've talked about it for probably 7 years. And those caused a lot of autoimmune diseases. Bayer settled for like $1 billion about 2 years ago. I've removed about 1,200 of those implants, and the improvements that I've seen in women just from having those implants removed has been nothing short of miraculous. And so, yes, I totally believe if you have a foreign material in your body, that it makes sense that it could cause you problems. So I do believe in breast implant illness. I think there's a lot of doctors out there that are preying on women. I think when you have an implant, like a breast implant, there's probably a third of women that do amazing. There's probably a third of women that do horribly. And there's probably 50 or 25% that have major problems, 25% that have no problems. 50% that have problems that haven't connected the fact that it's probably due to the implants yet. So there's a lot of them out there, and I've seen a lot of women get better having them removed. So I'm going to end it here. Share this, press like, subscribe, go to Amazon, get the Hormone Balance Bible. It's a good place to start for your hormones. If you want to lose weight, click the link I put at the very first comment. I'm here for you. I'm ready to sign you up. I'm ready to get the supplements out to you and get you going. So I'll see you on the other side.